Alright, back into Star Pack today to revisit a challenge which I gave up on a long time ago. And it's not surprising why I gave up on it because it's incredibly difficult. And it was completed quite a long time ago, I think it was October, by SuperAutoGaming himself, and I'll put a link to his video in the description where he explains this challenge in detail and shows a whole bunch of runs. You can definitely tell it's a SAG video from the thumbnail. But yeah, I thought this was a great idea. I think it was suggested to him by someone in his comments. The idea is to finish a run in Pack 3 with no pets from Pack 3 on your team. So that might sound like it doesn't make any sense, but you can access a few pets from outside. Well, actually, nowadays there's quite a lot because every time there's a new update, Orca adds a whole bunch of faint pets. So as well as Orca, that you've got Anteater. So if you have a Mantis faint Anteater, you can get an ant. And you can also get duck and beaver from selling platypus. Now, I hadn't really been thinking about doing this challenge, or at least trying it again. I was just working on 5 of a kinds that I'd never been able to get in Star Pack. And I'm not sure if it's any easier to get them in the update. There are definitely some improvements in terms of, the level up system makes it easier to find duplicates. So if you're going for like a tier 5 and you have multiple level ups on turn 7, you're more likely to get 2 of the same. But at the same time, your opponents are taking advantage of that too. And most of them are not going for 5 of a kinds. They're just stacking up levels onto their strongest pets that they're going to keep for the whole game. So I'm still on the fence as to whether or not the 5s are going to be easier once things completely settle down in this pack. But in the meantime, I was trying a few things out and I thought, right, I've got the platypus here. Let's give it a shot. I'll transfer the stats from the jellyfish onto the duck or the beaver as soon as possible. And we'll just go from there with the starfish buy cells. So I take the level up on the starfish. Very lucky to get the level 2 that quickly. And I'm just going to do a quick buy cell here. Hope it hits the jellyfish, but it hits the platypus. Another starfish as well. So we really just need the frog here. And then we can get started. But there are some, not stealth changes I won't say, but changes that don't seem all that relevant to begin with. But as soon as you start playing, you realize what a huge difference it makes. And that is the changes to mouse and crow. So mouse and crow now no longer replace the contents of the food shop. So that means that they stock the apple and they stock the chocolate without actually losing the contents of the food shop. And you can see it here when I buy sell the mouse. The apple comes in, we don't lose the cheese or the other food item. I've forgotten what it was already. But there I stock the chocolate with the crow. And you can actually do this multiple times. So you can just stack up a whole bunch of chocolates ready to use on the tier 6 unit of your choice. Or I guess tier 5 if you want to. Maybe you're going for level 2 shoe bill or something. But since we've got starfish going here, I decided I'm just going to take the level 3 right now. We've still got 3 hearts. And there is another platypus, which is incredible. Because it gives us triple cell. Now sometimes the buffs are going to go to waste like they did there. But a lot of the time the buffs are hitting the front 2 units. And we're getting huge stats very, very quickly. And I've frozen the strawberry there because I want to be able to buy sell kiwi. Now that I've got level 3 starfish, buy selling a kiwi is massive value. So giving the strawberry just guarantees that I get all those buffs as well. There's another platypus. I think initially here I'm not going to keep any of the duck or beaver. I'm just going to wait until I've scaled up the first 2. And every platypus is free anyway. So here you can see I'm stocking the chocolate. I'm not really concerned about getting equipment or anything yet. I just want to make sure that I have the double chocolate ready to go as soon as I find what I'm looking for. And I think here I'm just going to keep the 6/5 beaver for 1 turn. Or maybe I'm actually going to keep that one indefinitely. I can't remember exactly. But if you watch Sag's video, you can see that what he was trying to do was win as quickly as possible. So he was trying to race to get a 50-50. And then just hope that all the other units that he had, even though they had very poor stats, would be good enough to actually, eke out a win somehow. Unfortunately, there the starfish buffs the duck that gets sold, but you know, that's just going to happen. Now here you can see with the crow buy sell, you can actually stock another chocolate, but I'm not going to take it because I only need 2. But yeah, you can, SAG tried to win as quickly as possible, but here you can see we're on 5 trophies turn 10. So we actually are probably going to get to what? Turn 14 at the minimum. Double zebra is incredible. We just want as many of the buffs as possible not to hit the starfish. And there is a kiwi as well, which is +4, +5, I think it is, if you add them all up. And I'm hanging on to the platypus here because I want to be able to sell the starfish and then buy the platypus to get the other units I need for pack 1. So I take the Komodo over the starfish just to save gold for next turn because I'm going to spend the gold on the chocolates. And I think here we might have enough to either eke out a draw or potentially win. I think it's going to be a draw. This person T is very cool. I get matched with him all the time and they very, very frequently have like 3 or 4 starfish. Obviously their favorite unit in this pack, I would imagine. So now I get the Komodo. I can buy, sell the platypus to get another duck. And now we have the Komodo start scaling all 4 pets. And it's very important to have the Komodo rather than anything else because I'm going to need to get pepper on everything. And if you're using Shoebill, you know, normally you're just going for Raptor, so you're not too worried about having no equipment. But since I'm not going to, you know, use the Raptor, I would have to sell it. I'm going to have to rely on pepper. And we get one, which I normally I make the mistake of putting it on the biggest unit first. I think it's better to put it on the sort of mid-range units so that they're able to trade up. Because a 4150 can trade, you know, more than once potentially against certain builds. And we'll see a variety of different ones. This one is absolutely horrendous. I definitely feel like that's a change. You know, I don't know if you would be likely to see a team like this on turn 13 without the new changes. You know, they've got level 2 Raptor, level 2 Shoebill. Yeah, they had multiple jellyfish that were, I don't know if they were both level 3, but it felt like that team was a little bit too powerful based on the current turn. So I freeze up the platypus. You have to be careful because you don't get the little sparkle effect because I don't actually have a platypus in my team. But I get that frozen up, which means we're ready to go when the Komodo has to be sold. And Swordfish team, always very frustrating when you've got one huge unit, but thankfully we had enough stats there. I'm just going to buy the stat food and then look for another pepper for the duck that doesn't have one yet. And I give the Komodo the grapes just to make sure we have a little bit of extra gold next turn. So although we are kind of in the nosebleed turns now, it is really nice to still have a life intact because I feel like there are so many teams that we could lose to. Very lucky on the orangutan spawn there. You can see the pug there had skewer, so that team had used Orca to get hold of Snapping Turtle and then had the Mantis faint it. So, I mean, in this, I think getting Snapping Turtle in this would be incredible because you could potentially break triple pepper or coconut. But because I went this particular route, I'm kind of committed to the Komodo. I'll definitely have to try doing this again at some point with a Mantis team instead and see if we can get some more varied units instead of just Duck and Beaver. But here's the nightmare scenario where you get matched with Vulture, Toad. Even though they don't have level 2 Toad, they get Sheep and Cricket, which is just so much damage on top. And we're going to actually lose by 1 HP because of the pepper at the back, which is, you know, at this point I was really panicking that I was going to get messed up by Vulture by 1 HP again, which it's happened to me so many times on 5 of a kinds, on all sorts of challenges in this pack. I hate it so much. But we've got now 2 units that are very well, we've got a 50-50 and we've got another that's very, very close. And this is the dream opponent with the Husky team, no peppers, and it's very comfortable win. So now the Komodo has to go, and we've got to sell the platypus to get a third duck, which will have baseline stats. And I could give it pepper here. I can't remember what option I go for. I mean, you can give it popcorn instead, but I might as well just take the pepper in case I don't find anything else. And then we're just going to buy the stat food. And I think I give, I'm going to put the weakest one to the front, which I've mentioned that many times before. 2 weak ones to the front just in case of woodpecker. And here we go. Triple duck, double beaver. And we get matched with another team that has very little equipment. They do have one pepper in the middle here and reindeer at the back, but the reindeer stats are way too low. And the duck/beaver only team gets the win on turn 18 in Star Pack.